Hey, next attendees, I'm Justin Wilcox. I'm the founder of Nimbus Health, a software company where we help hospitals automate medical record processing. Now that's what I do for work, but what I do for fun is actually Customer Dev Labs. It's a blog where I and other founders take our customer development experiences and we write them up and share them so that other people don't fall into the same traps that we did getting started. So if you like what we talk about today, definitely go check out the blog. Speaking of which, what we're talking about today is 4 customer discovery hacks. These are the 4 things that I found hardest to get started with customer development. All right, now that we know who we're going to interview, we got to figure out how to find them. And that's what hack number 2 is all about. So if you're B2B, it's going to take you a little longer to get the interviews you need to validate your assumptions. So here's a hack for you, specially designed. It's called the Webinar Honeypot. And what that means is we're going to offer some tantalizing, sweet information goodness in the form of a webinar. So, an example of one time I've done this for my own company, Nimbus Health. I was getting started. I didn't have a lot of relationships in the healthcare space. So I decided to run a webinar where I could offer some information about this new and crazy thing called Twitter. So I put together a webinar on what is Twitter for a bunch of healthcare consultants, and they drove to it and they loved it. And they began to see me as sort of the thought leader on all things new age and technology-ish. So once I had built that rapport, it was easy for me to then say, hey, you know what? I'd love to learn a little bit more about the problems that you're facing. Set up some interviews and get some great feedback. So that's something that you could easily do if you're B2B. Think about a webinar that you can set up, offer some free information, demonstrate your expertise, and in exchange, people will be happy to spend time with you answering your questions. Now, B2C, things get even easier. And they get easier with a tool called Mechanical Turk, or as many of us like to say, M-Turk. And it enables you to get out of the building without actually leaving your house. Here's how. Mechanical Turk, also known as M-Turk, is like a tiny job board. This is where people post tiny jobs that pay tiny amounts of money. So let's see what one of these jobs, or hits as they're known, look like. So here you can see someone's asking for data cleanup on names of people, and then another one is extract purchased items from a shopping receipt. Let's look at what that hit looks like. If I click on this hit, you can see that we're being asked to type in the things that show up on this receipt. And as I type these in over here, I can answer some questions, and then when I'm all done, I hit submit. And for this work of typing up this receipt, we are paid a whopping 6 cents. So that's what I mean by tiny work and tiny amounts of money. 6 cents is not a lot of money for the amount of work it would take to type this thing up. But this is what Mechanical Turk is great at. And I'm sure you're wondering, why the heck would anyone do this for 6 cents? Well, there's 2 reasons. One reason is someone wants to supplement their income. The second reason is that someone wants to supplement their mental stimulation. And that's the group that we're looking for. This group of people, maybe they're soccer moms, maybe they are security guards and they're on their night shift, and they want something to do that keeps them active, that's not watching TV or playing solitaire. So what we're going to do is we're going to price our hits so that we can make an interesting experience for these people, but we're not going to price them so high that someone who's looking to be disingenuous and just make money off of our work will try and sort of fraud their way through. So let's take a look at what it would take to post a job so that someone would call us for an interview. So I'm going to go back to the beginning of Mechanical Turk, and I'm going to log in as a requester. And I'm going to show you a hit that I've created previously for doing my own customer interviews. Now this is a hit I posted to attract friends of people who are constantly late. Now my hypothesis was that if someone has a friend or family member who's late all the time, maybe they will buy bounce for their friend or family member so they are on time more often. So you can see here that I've posted a reward of $1.01, so still not very much, certainly more than 6 cents, but $1 per interview is a really smashing deal in my mind, considering I don't have to leave my house. All right, the other metrics here, don't worry about those. Those are all documented elsewhere, and I'll go over those in the blog post. So once we've actually outlined our hit, now it's time to actually describe what the job is. So here it says, if you have a friend or family member who's constantly late and that family member or friend owns a smartphone, call this number for a 5-minute phone survey. So it's really basic. All they have to do is if they meet these requirements, they call us up, and then we will do a customer interview with them. Now the *67, that's for privacy reasons so that we don't get their phone number, and this happens to be a Google Voice number. You'll also notice this password input field. What happens is we actually validate that whoever has talked to us, we give them a valid password to denote that they are, a serious person who's gone through the interview process. If, for example, they try and fake their way through the interview, or they just call us and then hang up, they won't get the password, and because they don't enter the correct password, they won't get paid. All right, so let's take a look at the final preview. So here you can see the reward is $1.01. And you have the qualifications that someone must meet, and then the phone number to call. And that's it. As soon as I hit finish, anyone on the web who has a Mechanical Turk account can call us, and we can start interviewing them. Now, I've posted this several times, and I've done this for a number of different projects, and within minutes, someone ends up calling. Now, of course, it depends on the qualifications that you enter in here. So you may have to try a couple different combinations to get actual people who can call you. But I've got a friend who used this technique to interview 100 customers in 4 hours with a couple of other friends. So we've got this all documented up on Customer Dev Labs, step-by-step guides on what to enter where. So give this a shot, and you should be able to leave the building without actually leaving your house. All right, so now you've seen how easy it is to get customer interviews with Mechanical Turk. Now it's your turn. So if you're doing a B2B play, I want you to think about the description of the webinar that you're going to run and a strategy to get the word out. If you're doing B2C, I want you to think about the qualifications someone needs to meet in order to give you a call so they can be interviewed. Give it a shot. So all this information is documented up on customerdevlabs.com. Go check it out. I'm Justin Wilcox. Let me know what you learned.